When the small man in the simple purple velvet suit walked toward the vintage Steinway grand piano in the Temple of Dendur Hall, event coordinator Richard Pemberton rushed over with panic in his eyes. "Sir, sir, step away from the piano, please. That's a museum piece. 1923 Steinway, worth $250,000. We have very strict rules." Prince looked at him, said nothing, walked away. But 23 minutes later, when the soprano canceled with food poisoning and a drunk guest tried to volunteer for karaoke, Richard would be begging that same nobody to save the most important night of his career. What happened next became the most legendary impromptu performance in charity gala history, and not a single person was allowed to record it. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York City, Thursday evening, October 2013, 8:15 p.m., annual gala for Children's Music Education Fund. $2,000 per plate, 400 guests, black tie only, Wall Street executives, Broadway producers, museum board members, old money families, everyone in tuxedos and designer gowns. In the Temple of Dendur Hall, a 1923 Steinway Model D grand piano sat behind a velvet rope. Small placard, "Do not touch, historical instrument. Recently restored, museum piece, display only. Richard Pemberton, 42, British, clipboard in hand, headset on, constant stress." This was his biggest event of the year. Everything had to be perfect. Scheduled entertainment, soprano from the Met Opera at 9:30 p.m., jazz quartet for background music during dinner. Everything scripted, timed, controlled. Prince arrived alone, no entourage, simple purple velvet suit, elegant but understated, white ruffled shirt, minimal jewelry, hair natural, small afro, security check at the door. Bouncer Marcus looked at the list. "Name? Prince." Marcus scanned. "Prince what? Last name?" "Just Prince." Marcus frowned. "Sir, I need a full name to verify." A woman behind Prince, Patricia Vanderbilt, 65, old money, museum board member, spoke up. "Oh, for heaven's sake, that's Prince, the musician. Let him through." Marcus went red. "Oh, sorry, Mr. Prince." Inside, Prince took his seat at table 14. Not VIP. Middle of the room, sat next to strangers who didn't recognize him. Man next to him, Bradley, hedge fund manager, made small talk. "First time at the gala?" "Yes." "What do you do?" "Music." Bradley's tone went condescending. "Oh, a musician! How nice. Studio work? Teaching?" "Something like that." Bradley lost interest. Turned to talk to someone more important. 8:47 p.m. Dinner being served. Prince excused himself, walked through the hall, stopped at the Steinway piano, admired it, ran his fingers along the edge, didn't touch the keys, just looking. Richard spotted him, rushed over in panic. "Sir, sir, step away from the piano, please." Prince turned. Calm. "That's a museum piece. 1923 Steinway. It's not for touching. Insurance purposes, this instrument is worth $250,000. If everyone tried to—" "I understand. I'm sure you do, but we can't make exceptions. Now, if you'll return to your table—" Prince nodded, walked away without argument. Richard muttered to his assistant, Sarah, 26, NYU theater grad. "These people, they see a piano, they think it's a toy." Sarah looked at Prince, walking away. "That guy looked familiar. They all think they're important. Now, has the soprano arrived?" 9:15 p.m. Richard's phone rang. The soprano's assistant. "She can't make it. Food poisoning. She's at the hospital." Richard went white. "What do you mean? She can't make it? She's the headliner." "I'm so sorry, it just happened." Richard hung up. "Sarah, the soprano canceled. What do we do?" "The auction is in 15 minutes. We promised entertainment." The charity auction was the main event. They were auctioning experiences. One item, private performance by tonight's opera star, expected to raise $50,000. Without the soprano, that auction item was worthless. Richard scanned the room desperately. The jazz quartet? No, they were background musicians. Any Broadway people? Called in favors frantically. Nothing. 9:25 p.m. Jeffrey Whitmore, 55, investment banker, drunk, saw Richard panicking. "What's the problem, Richard?" Richard tried to be discreet. "Nothing, sir. Just a small scheduling issue." Jeffrey got louder. "The singer canceled, didn't she? I heard." Nearby tables went quiet. Jeffrey stood, swaying. "Well then, I'll volunteer. I'll auction off my performance. I did karaoke once. I can sing opera." Started singing off-key. Badly. People cringed, laughed uncomfortably. Richard was mortified. The gala was turning into a circus. Patricia Vanderbilt approached. "Richard, dear, you seem distressed." "The entertainment canceled, Mrs. Vanderbilt. I don't know what to do." "Well, there is someone here who could perform." "Who?" "Prince." Richard was confused. "Prince who?" "Prince. The musician. Purple Rain? 7 Grammys? That Prince." She pointed across the room to table 14. Richard saw the small man in the purple suit. His jaw dropped. Richard rushed to table 14, nearly tripping. "Mr. Nelson, I'm so sorry to disturb you." Prince was eating calmly. "It's fine. I need to apologize. Earlier at the piano I was rude. I didn't realize who you were." "You weren't rude. You were doing your job. I have a rather unusual request," Richard explained. "Soprano canceled. Auction needs performance. Could he possibly—" Prince was quiet for a long moment. "That piano. The 1923 Steinway. It works?" "Yes, it was. Just restored. But it's a museum piece." "You want me to perform?" "I perform on that piano." Richard sweated. "I don't have authority to—" Patricia Vanderbilt, overhearing, walked over. "Richard, I'm on the museum board. I authorize it." To Prince. "Would you really do this?" "If the piano can be played, I'll play it." Richard almost cried with relief. Thank you so much. One condition." "Anything. No phones, no cameras, no recording." Richard hesitated. "But people will want to—" "Those are my terms. This is for the people in this room only. No one else." Richard nodded frantically. "Done. Absolutely." 9:40 p.m. Richard took the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. Due to unforeseen circumstances, our scheduled performer is unable to join us tonight." Groans from the crowd. "However, we have an unexpected guest who has graciously agreed to perform. Please welcome Prince." The room erupted. People standing. Applause. Shock. "Prince? Prince is here?" Jeffrey, the drunk guy. "I knew I recognized him." Bradley, the hedge fund guy who'd ignored Prince at dinner. "Oh my God, I was sitting next to Prince." Security removed the velvet rope from the piano. Prince walked to it. No fanfare. Sat at the bench. Adjusted the height. Ran his fingers across the keys. Didn't play yet. Just tested the action. Feeling the weight. The room went silent. Watching. Prince spoke into the microphone Richard handed him. "This piano hasn't been played in 90 years. Let's wake it up," he began. Purple Rain, but different. Slower, more delicate. Classical arrangement. The 1923 Steinway had a warmer, richer tone than modern pianos. Every note crystal clear. The Temple of Dender's acoustics were perfect. Sound bouncing off ancient Egyptian stone. People were mesmerized. Patricia Vanderbilt had tears in her eyes. Bradley pulled out his phone, started recording. Prince stopped playing. Looked directly at Bradley, said nothing. Bradley, embarrassed, put the phone away. Prince continued. Finished Purple Rain instrumental. Transitioned into Raspberry Beret, then The Beautiful Ones. Each song reimagined. Jazz, classical fusion, no singing, just piano. Then he stopped. Spoke. "I was told there are rules here tonight. Rules are important. They protect things, like this piano." He tapped the wood gently. "But music doesn't follow rules. Music breaks them." He started playing something different. Not his song, not anyone's song. Pure improvisation, jazz fusion, classical technique, funk rhythms, his hands flying across the keys. The 1923 Steinway was singing, 400 people. Absolute silence except for the piano, some crying, some stunned, some swaying. The improvisation built, faster, more complex. Then suddenly, quiet, gentle, a simple melody, almost like a lullaby. Prince spoke softly while playing. "This gala is for children's music education. I started playing piano when I was 7. My father taught me. He wasn't gentle, he was strict. But he gave me music, and music gave me everything." The melody shifted. Now it sounded like a conversation. 2 hands, 2 voices, father and son, speaking through notes. People in the audience were openly crying. Prince finished. The final note hung in the air. Silence. Then, explosion of applause. Standing ovation. 400 people on their feet. Applause lasted 3 full minutes. Prince stood, bowed slightly, no smile, no showmanship, just a small nod. Walked away from the piano. 10:15 p.m. The auction. Auctioneer. And now, lot number 17. A private performance by tonight's surprise guest. Prince! Bidding war started. $10,000 jumped to $50,000, then $100,000, then $250,000. Final bid, $500,000. Jeffrey, the drunk guy, trying to redeem himself. Prince watched from the side, amused. Then he walked to the microphone, took it from the auctioneer. "I appreciate the bid, but I'm changing the terms." Confused silence. "The winner gets a private performance, but not for themselves. The performance will be at a public school, in an underfunded music program, and the winner has to attend, with their checkbook." The room laughed, applauded. Jeffrey. "Deal." But Prince wasn't done. "I want to thank the staff tonight," gestured to the servers, bartenders, coat check, security. "They've been on their feet for 6 hours, serving 400 people. How many of you even learned their names?" Awkward silence. "Marcus, security at the door, former Marine, working 3 jobs to pay for his daughter's college." Marcus at the back waved awkwardly, shocked. "Sarah, assistant coordinator, NYU, theater school grad, has $90,000 in student debt." Sarah, near Richard, was tearing up. "Carlos, head waiter, sending money back to family in Guatemala. Hasn't seen his mother in 4 years." Carlos froze with his tray. Prince pulled an envelope from his jacket. "I'm matching Jeffrey's $500,000 donation. $250,000 goes to the Children's Music Fund. $250,000 gets split among the 47 staff members working tonight. That's about $5,300 each." The room erupted. Staff members crying. Sarah dropped her clipboard. Marcus had to sit down. Carlos was sobbing. Prince to Richard. "You panicked tonight. You thought everything had to be perfect. But the best things in life, they're not planned. They're improvised, like music." To the room. "I wasn't supposed to perform tonight, but I did. The piano wasn't supposed to be played, but it was. And now it's alive again." Patricia Vanderbilt stood. "Mr. Nelson, on behalf of the Metropolitan Museum, that piano is now officially named the Prince Rogers Nelson Steinway, and it will be played once a year at this gala by a student from an underfunded music program." More applause, more tears. Prince. "Thank you for breaking the rules with me tonight." Small smile. Walked off. 11:30 p.m. Coat check. Young woman. Maria, 19, working part-time, got Prince's coat. Hands shaking. "Mr. Prince, sir, thank you. I'm studying music at CUNY, working here to pay for it. What you said, what you did." She couldn't finish. Crying. Prince reached into his pocket, pulled out a business card. "Call this number Monday. Ask for Laura. Tell her I said to set up the scholarship." "Scholarship?" "Full ride. 4 years, if you want it, Maria sobbed. Yes, yes, thank you. Prince exited into the New York night. No car waiting. Walked down Fifth Avenue alone, collar up, hands in pockets, disappeared into the city. The 2013 Met Gala raised $1.4 million. A record. Prince's performance was never recorded. The 400 people in attendance signed NDAs, making it one of the most sought-after lost performances in music history. Marcus, security guard, used his $5,300 to pay for his daughter's final semester at NYU. She graduated debt-free in 2014. Sarah, assistant coordinator, was promoted to event director. Now runs her own event company in Manhattan. Carlos, waiter, flew home to Guatemala. Spent 3 weeks with his mother. First time in 4 years. Maria Martinez graduated from QNY in 2017, music education degree. Now teaches at the same underfunded Bronx school where Prince performed the private concert, $500,000 auction item. She named her classroom the Purple Room. Jeffrey Whitmore, the drunk bidder, became a major donor to music education, funded 12 school programs since 2013. I was drunk and embarrassing that night, he says. Prince showed me how to use money properly. The Prince Rogers Nelson Steinway is played once annually at the Met Gala by a student from an underfunded music program. The tradition continues to this day. On the piano, new placard, the Prince Rogers Nelson Steinway. Music doesn't follow rules. Music breaks them. Prince, 2013. A single purple rose rests on the keys. Richard Pemberton panicked because a soprano canceled. Prince improvised because music doesn't follow rules. 400 people witnessed a performance that will never be recorded. 47 staff members got $5,300 each. One 19-year-old got a full scholarship, and a 90-year-old piano got its name. Because sometimes the best nights are the ones you never planned.